What is up, you guys? Nick here with another video. Today I'm going to show you how to get Ubuntu Linux running inside of VirtualBox in a Windows 10 environment. So let's get right into it. The first thing you need to do is open up your web browser of choice and navigate to virtualbox.org. And this is, where you will get VirtualBox. And you just click download VirtualBox 6.0.6 and choose for Windows hosts, click save file, and it will begin downloading. Great, I've already downloaded it, so I don't need that. The next thing you need to do is go to ubuntu.com, and once that loads, click download, choose Ubuntu Desktop 19.04, go ahead and let that download. And then for now, just put both of these files on your desktop, move the Ubuntu one off to the side, you're not going to need it for a minute. And I have uninstalled my installation of VirtualBox just for this video. So I will double click this installation file for VirtualBox. It says preparing to install, welcome to the Oracle VM VirtualBox 6.0.6 setup wizard. So you can pretty much just click next a bunch of times here and it will be perfectly fine. So it warns you about this network interfaces thing here. It will reset your network connection and temporarily disconnect you from the network. That's not a big deal unless you're downloading something in the background or streaming a video or audio or something like that. So make sure you're not doing anything like that, or else it might get interrupted during this installation. But again, it does not take very long to do it. Say yes to the smart screen filter and just let it go ahead and make any changes that it needs to make. And you'll see the status here goes fairly quickly. I've already got the VirtualBox icon appearing, and we're almost there. It loads really fast up to this point. There we go. Okay, so start VirtualBox. There we go. As soon as that's started, we can go ahead and delete that installation file. And you can see I have an old VirtualBox thing, so we'll just delete all files there. And now I have a Windows Vista Business installation here, but we're just going to leave that alone for today. So we're going to go ahead and click New. We're going to name this Ubuntu 19.04 because at the time of the creation of this video that is what I am using, and we'll go ahead and click next, and we will set the memory as high as we safely can. Actually, let's just give it 8 gigs of memory, which is what? Calculator, let's see, 8 times 1024, I think it's 8 times 1024, 8192. So let's give it 8192, just like that. And you don't want to go into the red here because if you have invalid settings, it will not work. Alright, so we definitely want to create a virtual hard disk now. Go ahead and choose VirtualBox disk image, a VDI. I like to choose dynamically allocated because it will increase in size as needed, so it won't take up as much space as you set until you're actually using that space. And I like to give these a minimum of 25 gigabytes just to make sure that you're going to have enough space for your installation plus any files that you add. You can always make that bigger later. Okay, we're almost ready to get started with the actual installation, but first we're going to go into settings here, and we're going to choose system. So we have our memory set. We want to, okay, so all that looks pretty good. We want to up our video memory as high as possible. If you want to run dual monitors, you can. I have 2 monitors, but I'm just going to run this within 1 monitor for now. I like to enable 3D acceleration, check your storage, network, all that. We're going to leave this alone, most of this for now, but you could change your name here if you wanted to. Just click OK, and then this is where our downloaded Ubuntu ISO file will come into play. We'll go ahead and click Start, and your empty Ubuntu virtual machine will begin. And so here's what it asks. It says select startup disk. So you want to open your folder here, and then you want to just go ahead and I'll choose desktop, Ubuntu, and we will click Start just like that. And it will start up the live image of Ubuntu, and with this we can go ahead and maximize this so you'll be able to see. Well, you can't see much, can you? Hopefully it will resize automatically as soon as it recognizes. Let's go ahead to full screen mode. Okay, so this should, we'll just leave that alone for now. We'll let this do its thing. What is its thing? Ah, here we go. Failed to send host log message. That's fine. We're now at the Ubuntu loading screen. And if you don't click inside the window until you get to here, it's fine. It enables automatic mouse capturing. So if I come out of full screen and I bring it down like this, you'll see, well, if it loads, you'll see I can move my mouse between VirtualBox. There's my Ubuntu mouse, and it turns into the Ubuntu mouse, and then as soon as I come back into Windows, it changes back to my Windows mouse, which is very, very nice. So we'll go ahead and full screen mode. And your host key is typically the rightmost control key on your keyboard. Still not sure why this screen is, there we go. So it is taking it a little bit of time. I guess this is probably going onto my storage drive, which is actually a hard drive and not a solid state drive. So this might be a slow installation procedure. If that's the case, I'll go ahead and time lapse it and let you guys listen to a nice song. So anyway, the first thing we want to do is, once we get to this screen, is click install Ubuntu, because we don't really need to mess around with the live installation because we know what we want, and if we mess it up, we can always just delete the image and start over. So click install Ubuntu, and choose your keyboard. For me, it's going to be English US, continue, and it'll take us through the setup procedure. I wonder why it's not letting me change this. Well, we'll leave it. It will, and so, okay, so I like to go ahead and install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi hardware and all this. This is nice. I like having that, so we'll just go ahead and click continue. Just know that you're agreeing to the terms and conditions for each proprietary developer of said software. It's not that big a deal, but, just know what you're agreeing to. Okay. So this is going a little slow. I bet it is using my main storage drive and not my solid state drive, but that's fine because my solid state drive doesn't really have a whole lot of capacity for stuff like this. It's mostly just for my Windows installation and then some programs that I use very frequently, like Office. I like Office to load quickly. Okay, so we will erase disk and install Ubuntu. We'll click install now, and it looks like it's probably going to take its sweet time. Okay, so if you continue, yes, we just want to let it do that. Okay, so the next thing we want to do is choose our locale. I am on Eastern Standard Time, so I'll go ahead and just leave it at New York because they don't need to know exactly where I live, and neither do you for that matter. Although I think most people, if you've watched my channel, you know I live in Kentucky. So we'll go ahead and put this username Nick. Computer name, you can make it Nick Virtual. You can make it your VirtualBox. You can make it whatever you want. I'll just make it Nickbox. There we go. Username is going to be Nick. Password is just going to be admin. Confirm it as admin because I'm not really going to be using this installation for very long. And then, yes, you typically want to require your password to log in to protect your files and things. And with that, the installation begins, and the progress is tracked down below. You can click this little arrow to see what's going on, or you can just leave it as the progress bar. But with this, I will go ahead and just let the time lapse run so that you guys can see how it proceeds. But that's pretty much it for installing it. So as soon as you guys see me come back, we will begin booting into our Ubuntu installation and playing around with it there. Alright, now the installation is complete. It says you will need to restart the computer in order to use the new installation. I'll go ahead and click restart now, and you should too. It doesn't take too long. It says that same error on hosts nonsense that we saw before. And then it says remove the installation medium and press enter. So here's what you do. If you're in full screen mode, well, you're probably not going to be in full screen mode, but you will just click devices here, optical drives, and you will want to remove from the drive. Let's go ahead and go into settings real quick on the virtual machine. Go to storage. So okay, so it automatically removed the installation media. So VirtualBox has gotten smart, so that's great. We'll just go ahead and click enter, and it'll do some weird things, and then we can go back to full screen mode. And it's going to say that same host error thingy, but that's okay. It's going to load the Ubuntu, and this should go a lot quicker than that virtual disk image. Or, I mean, the virtual disk image should go a lot quicker than the virtual ISO file. First boot might take a little bit of time. That is normal. Ooh, we have a mouse now, a little black mouse. Actually, I really like the Ubuntu and just the Linux mouse in general. Ubuntu is a very nice operating system. It gets a lot of hate, not a lot of hate, but some hate in the Linux community because it's not pure Linux and all this, but it's really not that bad. It's very easy to use, and if you're using it for a college class where you need Linux for some tool or something, it is a great version of Linux because it's very, very user-friendly, even though it's kind of resource-heavy. But there are lighter versions of Ubuntu if you want to use Ubuntu and you want to use a lighter version of it. So it's really not that big a deal. So let's see. Looks like my Ubuntu screen starts right there and ends right there. So we're still not real big, but we'll go ahead and I'll show you a little trick here in a minute. If Ubuntu ever loads, goodness gracious, you can see, oh, there's something. Alright, so, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and cancel there. Skip that. No, don't send system info. Go away. Next, we don't want to help improve Ubuntu. We don't want location services on. No, let's leave that alone for now. Okay, so here's our Ubuntu desktop. Now, one thing I'm going to show you real quick. Devices, insert guest edition CD. Why was it unable to insert it? Okay, well, we'll deal with that later. Okay, so you're brought into your Ubuntu desktop here, and you can go ahead and click on all applications. Wow, this is very, very slow. So this computer actually struggles to run Ubuntu a little bit inside of VirtualBox, but that's not such a big deal. Let me close this down. Let's just power it straight off. And let's go back into settings here. And let's look at the system. What are we doing with our processor? Ah, that's part of it. Execution cap 100%, and we want to give it at least 4 CPUs here. So that's probably part of the issue. We'll go ahead and click OK, and let's go ahead and start Ubuntu again. So we were only using 1 of our 8 available processors. Now we're using 4. This should start much, much faster now. You can already see it's going much more quickly. Okay, there's the mouse already again. Still not as fast as native Ubuntu on a solid state drive, but it's not bad. So there's put in our password, which was admin, which is not a very good password. So if you're going to be using this a lot, you want to set a good password. just like you would when you were setting up your Windows machine. Okay, so we're back at the Ubuntu desktop now. And you want to, if you're not in full screen mode, which I'll go ahead and take it out with the keyboard shortcut. Okay, you want to hit devices, and then you want to hit insert guest. Why won't it let me do that? Unable to insert the virtual optical disc. Could not mount the media driver. Media locked. Okay, that makes perfect sense. It's locked by Windows, so let's just see if we can manually adjust the window size. Scaled mode switch. Oh dear, that looks terrible. Let's see if I can change the display settings. Let's change that to where's 1920 by 1080? Why is that not an option? 1920 by 1200, but we don't have a 1920 by 1080. Let's just try by 1440. We don't want a 4:3. We want a 16 by 9. Well, we'll just do this. This isn't going to look great, but it's going to look better than it did. Yes, let's keep the changes. Okay, so everything's just slightly blurry, but that's okay. Maybe try 1920 by 1200. Oh yeah, I like that better. Okay, so that's not cutting anything off. Everything's a little smaller. Let's try 200%. Oh no, we don't want that. We want to revert. Revert. Okay. Alright, so there, that helps a lot. So software has been updated. So you want to go ahead and run any updates, and it can just do that automatically. It'll do it in the background, in fact. Now one thing you'll notice, and if I go full screen, you'll see, so I have my full environment here. If I click, well, what just happened? Where's my, maybe we do want 1366 by 768, because we can't have 16 by 10 on this machine. Okay, so let's just keep changing. So that makes it a little bigger for now. We'll just leave that alone. Okay, so if we click show applications here, it will show all of the applications. Okay, there we go. It'll show all of the applications we have available to us, which is a nice thing. So we've got all this junk in here, which is cool. And then we have some other junk that we don't necessarily need. So one thing that you almost immediately want to run, okay, software is up to date. All right, so one thing you almost always want to run is to pull up a terminal and type sudo apt get update and then your password. And so it's going to say, hopefully it'll say it has some stuff. Okay, so maybe there wasn't. All right, and then sudo apt upgrade, and everything's installed already. All right, so that's great. So we don't need to install any updates right this second. So here's what you want to look at here. So you can see it says wired connected network. Now we know there's something a little fishy about that because I'm on Wi-Fi and it's connected 1 gigabit per second. Now the reason for this is, you can see it has network. So we'll say connect network adapter down here. We want to enable USB. And we want to enable this Atheros USB 2.0 wireless LAN. So we can go ahead and plug that in, and Ubuntu should see it. It usually does. Let's find our wireless Wi-Fi. It says not connected. So now we can select a network and it's automatically installed our USB wireless card. So then, you know, I'll put in my Wi-Fi password there and it will connect, and you can see I am now connected. Cows are pretty, just like that. You can see if I open up Firefox, and again, this is going to be a little slow because actually I guess I overestimated the power of my computer. It's not as fast as I thought it was. So you'll see we can easily get to Google, we can easily get to speedtest.net or wherever we want to go. And now instead of using the network adapter that's built into VirtualBox, we can just use our actual network adapter. I have a USB Wi-Fi adapter that I plug in to my PC to get wireless internet in my office because I haven't run Ethernet cable to my office from my input to my house yet. So it's nice to be able to directly interface with that device because you're getting a more, I guess, authentic experience. You can see the network as you would if you were just using this natively on your PC. So that's much nicer to have than just trying to go through the VirtualBox tunnel. Although the VirtualBox tunnel is nice and it will get you through most things. The other thing you want to be able to do is enable USB devices like a flash drive to connect. But I think I'm actually going to cover that in another video because I don't want this video to get too long. So I think I'll just go ahead and end this video here. So this is how you get Ubuntu at least 19.04 running in VirtualBox in a Windows 10 environment. I hope this video helped you out. If it did, leave a thumbs up. If it didn't, you know what to do. If you have questions or problems doing this, go ahead and leave a comment down below, and myself or somebody else will try and answer it for you. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.